Hello folks, welcome to the Tech channel. Today we continue on JavaScript tutorial using FreeCodeCamp website. Let's just navigate back directly to the FreeCodeCamp website where we stopped on the previous lesson. So to this tab here, we stopped here in this challenge 81 where we ended up on the challenge 80 where we're having the condition in JavaScript, and the last one was changing this value to wrapped this false or this boolean to be wrapped with a double quotes, which now become a text, and text is a true value, and whenever the condition is a true value, then you will be able to access the logic inside this curly bracket. Then you will be able to print out this text. But whenever this condition is false, you will not be able to access whatever inside this curly bracket. The common false value, for example, so boolean false, 0, an empty string, and null, undefined, and none, these all will be treated as false value. In this challenge is asking us to change this here to double quotes, which represent empty string, and check your code now. Congratulations, your code is passed. Submit the changes and move on to the next challenge, challenge 82. In this challenge is explaining additional syntax of if statement in JavaScript. Also, you can use else if. As in the previous challenge, we learned how to use if. Now we can also use else if. And this example, quick example here, we'll check whenever the first condition is true, we'll run whatever inside first this curly bracket. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next condition. If the next condition 2 is true, we'll run whatever inside here. But if false, then you can move on to the next one as well. So, and also it's explaining that we can learn more about the truth and false value or condition on the coming tutorials or projects. But for now, we can learn how to use else if syntax in JavaScript as well. So it's asking us to update this condition to add else if 5 less than 10, and then we print out this text inside the block of the code. And if you remember that, let's first add a new syntax after this one here, else if, then parenthesis, and then the condition when 5 is less than 10. If you remember, we learned how to use less than operator on the previous tutorial. So 5, this is a less than operator, and then 10, which means it's true value. Then add this curly bracket, and inside this curly bracket we need to print out this text. As you remember, also we can use console.log to print out a text in JavaScript. Let's do that. Just add that here. Now if you see that it's printed because this is a true value, 5 is less than 10. Let's check your code. Congratulations, your code is passed. Submit the changes and move on to the next challenge. And in this challenge is explained also as well, you can use else statement. For example, if all conditions are false, then you would use else, and you need to run something inside else. So this here is the syntax. So this first condition and then next condition, if this both are false values, then else at the end maybe you need to do something by default. That in this example is asking us to update this syntax to add else at the end here. That means when the first condition is false and the next condition is false, then at the end just do something, and is asking us to print this text instead. And as our text here, we can use console.log to print the text. Still, we will not be able to see this text because this condition is true value. So it's asking us to update less than to greater than. When 5 is greater than, which is false value, then we'll just escape this condition and we'll move to the else, and then we'll print out this text. But we have syntax error here. Let's fix the console.log. So now we see this text is printed here because all these conditions are falsy. It will move to the end of this to else. Then let's just check your code. Congratulations, your code is passed. Submit the changes. And here in this challenge is asking us that now we learn how to use if statement and if else and else as well. So now we can remove all this code, and instead is asking us to declare a variable using let keyword and the first variable called continue loop, and assign this continue loop to false. And if you remember, at the end we need to add a semicolon. Declare another variable using let keyword as well, and the variable name is called done, and then assign it to a 0, and the end add a semicolon. check your code. Congratulations, your code is passed. Submit the changes and move on to the next challenge. In this challenge 85, now introducing a new different type of loop using while. So while loop, it will be running while the condition is true, when it will stop only whenever the condition is false. Down here is asking us to write a new loop using while methods. So let's just add that here, while, and then parentheses, and then add object bracket or curly bracket, and inside this parenthesis asking us to use this variable here, continue loop, as a condition. And check your code. Congratulations, your code is passed. Submit the changes and move on to the next challenge. And in this challenge is explaining that the while loop, if we change this continue loop to true, the loop will be running continuously until burn out your machine. So you need to be careful. This is called infinite loop. And to avoid that, is asking us now to just increase this done variable using the increase operator, if you remember. So we can do that using the plus plus simple, like using done, then just add plus plus, meaning the increase is done every time by 1. And check your code. Congratulations, your code is passed. Submit the changes and move on to the next challenge. And in this challenge is introducing a equal operator. This is used to check between two values if they are equal. This is the syntax if value is equal to 8. And below here is asking us to update this done to add a condition to be around this done. To check if, as you remember, we can use the if statement by using this syntax, if then parentheses, curly bracket. Inside this parentheses is asking us to add a condition to check if done equal to count. That we can add that here, done equal to count. Then inside curly bracket we can add our logic, which just increase done by 1. Check your code. Sorry, see, there is something wrong. Let's see what that was wrong is. Let's fix it. This done should be outside instead, not inside the if statement block. So now if you check your code, again the error here again is asking us that if statement should be after done, not before. Let's just move this after done and just try fix the syntax just to be look correct, and check again your code. Congratulations, your code is passed. Submit the changes and move on to the next challenge. And in this challenge also is introducing a different type of equal operator in JavaScript. For example, here this string 0 equal to 0 still is equal, also the left side is represented as a string and the value in right side represented as a number. To have a very strict assignment operator, we use this double equal. This is strict equal operator in JavaScript. So basically this will check if the value on the left equal to the value on the right of this operator, and if the type of the value on the left equal to the type on the right, so that we can use this triple equal instead of double equal here. So it's asking us to update this condition to have this strict operator instead of just the normal equal operator. And check your code. Congratulations, your code is passed. Submit the changes and move on to the next challenge. And in this challenge is asking us to update this continue loop to equal false inside this condition. So we need this loop to stop whenever the condition this done equal to count, then the loop to stop, which we need to update continue loop to be equal false, then the loop will stop. So let's do that inside this condition, this continue loop to equal false value. Just fix the syntax and let's add a semicolon here. And check your code. Congratulations, your code is passed. Submit the changes and move on to the next challenge, which is the last challenge in this tutorial. In this challenge, so to have the same parameters we have before with a different type of loop, is asking us here to now we can push to this rows array as we did previously, rows dot push using push method, and then inside here we can use bad row. And then that's a function. We need to call it using parentheses, as if you remember how we can call a function in JavaScript, can use this parentheses, and then we can pass done as the first parameter or argument and count as the second parameter. So just add that here. Now just check your code. Congratulations, your code is passed, and submit the changes. And to have the complete parameters, which will be in the coming challenge, so submit this for now, end of this tutorial. And thank you for watching, and see you on the very next tutorial.